So we are discussing about the cohort 1. And as a part of cohort 1, we have already identified a target group. We started this cohort on 10th of August. And ever since then, we have been having every Wednesday, Thursday, 2 hours of session, 1 hour each day. And we've been meeting. Some of you have been a part there. Some of you are connected with us on WhatsApp. And, some of you have maybe not attended any of these meetings and are coming here for the first time and missed last session of ours on 31st. So just to brief you here, today we are on the second masterclass of AWS. And what is the plan? Sorry. So we have the self-paced learning. You are in the masterclass, understanding the concept. Last masterclass is already done, which was about module 1 to 3 almost. And then we expected you to do self-paced learning again. And now again, you're in the masterclass. And after this, we will have another 2 masterclasses, which will be, informed. And here are the dates for AWS. Today we are on 2nd of September. The next class we have on 7th and then on 9th. We expect everybody on 9th is going to be prepared to give the assessment. And we're talking about NASCOM assessment as well as, so there is a mock assessment that one can take on the platform and then take NASCOM assessment and you get a certificate on 17th of September. Why only 17th of September? Because it's Vishwakarma Day. It's also our Prime Minister's birthday. So we're going to do a big ceremony because this platform is sponsored by Government of India. And we plan to, also have some time with us from 9 to 17 to be able to send you some goodies. If you are in the top 100 people who have finished the certification and assessment, what are the courses that we are doing as a part of the cohort 1? One is acquiring data. And here is the masterclass Zoom link. And the second one is AWS Cloud Practitioner. Here is the Zoom link for that. So both series are happening and the dates are also here. Now, I will let Nupur brief about what was discussed last time. And what and all did we discuss in the last class so that all of you are on the same. Nupur, over to you.
Okay,
just
thank you.
1 second, Nupur,
yeah,
Nupur,
sure.
before you begin,
No
just
problem.
1 second. So let's say if there are people who have, okay, when you started the presentation, chat got disabled. Now it's available, right? Okay, it seems to be that. So if you have doubts on any of these things that are told so far, please chat. We will we'll help you there in the chat itself, or put it as a question, so that we don't disrupt the flow for others who've been here through us. I mean, with us last class also. So, okay, thank you. Yeah, over to you, Nupur, now. Really.
Okay. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Now let me share my screen and we'll be able to see what we have discussed so far. So just give me a second. Yeah. So in the last session, Yogendra actually talked about what AWS is, what cloud computing is, and what all instances or what all things we do in AWS, various things related to AWS. We talked about that. So we will be seeing what Amazon Web Services are. So this is a little bit description about the last session and what AWS is all about. So AWS is not only about the storage, it's about networking, it's about database, other IT resources, management tools. So it is basically whatever services, whatever things you want on demand. That means whenever it is required, you can take the things available from the cloud and you can use them and you can return them back. So there you need to pay only for the amount of time you are using, only for the services you are using. So that will actually a cost efficient option. If you go with your own data centers, then what happens? You need to establish your own servers. You need to work for that. You need to establish various other capital expenditures. So these things are there. It will take time to install these servers at your data centers. So there are various things which you need to do if you need to install your data centers, if you need to work at your workplace. So it's better to take the service providers help. The AWS is a service provider that will provide you with various other services. So there are various number of services. If you explore AWS more, then you will be able to get to know that there are various services according to your requirement, according to your need. You can go to that service. Even some services are serverless. That means less you need to manage and more AWS will be managing. So those services are also available in this AWS. Let's see the terminology which actually the Yogendra has talked about is this EC2. So in the EC2, he talked about what actually the EC2 is. So EC2 is basically a service which is being used by you, in which you create the instances, and those instances are actually the virtual servers, which you install, in which you need to have an operating system. You will be provided with some storage, some resources. So various things will be there in that. You need to have a pre-configured machine images are available. You can configure your instances using those images. And in some few clicks, you will be available with your machine. Like he showed you the Windows machine. And in some few clicks, you will be able to launch your Windows machine at the system. You can remotely connect to that. So that is what the EC2 instance is. And the full form of EC2, I hope you must be knowing about that, is Elastic Compute Cloud. I'm only going with the overview. That's why I'm not explaining much about that. Then comes what all operating systems are being supported by the EC2. So all the 3 operating systems are being supported. If you talk about Linux, then it is also being supported. That means you can launch your Linux machine. Even you can launch the Windows machine. And the plus point is you can launch the Mac operating system as well. Then yes, you can configure how many CPUs you want. So you, according to your requirement, according to your application, you can have more CPU core machines, or if you want less, then that option is also available. Then with that, you can mention that how much memory space you require. So that is also option available. And there are various other things are also available, like EBS, EFS, which we will be exploring in the storage section. With that, he talked about the security group. So security group was very important. That means it acts like a firewall that protects our instances from getting access or getting directly connected to the other EC2 instances. So what happened? They are being provided with the encryption, and they will be given some key. Using that key, we will be able to get connected to the EC2 instance. So like if I have configured the EC2 instance, and if I want to get connected to my EC2 instance, then I need the password. First, I need to decrypt that password. Then I will be using that password, and using those password, I will be getting connected to my EC2 instance. Then some types of EC2 instance we have seen, but before that, there is a naming convention which the Yogendra has mentioned about is what the instance type you will be using. So I think Yogendra must have used a T3 micro, but we have various other instances available according to their categories, their configurations. So they have different types of instances available, and the naming convention is like M5 for .2x large. In this M is the class of instance, which class of instance it is. Like we have various instance classes like general purpose. We can talk about compute. So there are various instance classes available in this EC2 instance. So M is the one of that instance class. Then 5 is the generation. Like you can say that you purchase your system, your laptop. So what you do, you ask about that, what is the configuration, what is the processor, and what RAM is available, what kind of usage, depending on your usage, you will be asking the person that what is the configuration of the system. If it is according to your usage, then you will be purchasing that. Otherwise, you will be asking that this is my usage for this particular purpose. I will be using this laptop or the desktop. So you will be purchasing the system according to that. The same thing is with the EC2 instance. What you do, you will be first identifying that what actually the application is, what is the need for your application, what are the needs. And according to that, you will be selecting the instance, selecting the instance class, selecting the generation of that. Then according to that, what will be the size you will be required, the large size, the small size. So depending on that, you will be selecting the size as well. Like you can say the system, like I'm purchasing the laptop. So I will be asking, okay, so is there webcam HD cam is available in HD or not? If it screen is 15 inches or not? So like this various configuration details, other than the configuration, I will be asking various other details as well, so that I can purchase a proper laptop which will suit my requirements. So that's what with the EC2 instances. Then there are some of the types like general purpose. So in the general purpose, all the balance CPU and the networking storage has been there. And they have some general purpose instances, like they have a T series, M series, and various other series are available. So they have some certain series available, and according to that, they will be there in the general purpose. I think... So that's all which Yogendra has talked about in the last session, and today we will be going with the VPC. So we will go with the VPC option, because in the more theory we will be gone. Oh, let's see. Okay, so this is the new topic which we will be talking about is Amazon VPC. Yeah, one more thing. I think Yogen must have told you about this as well. This is my management console, which we can use. And this is the management console from where we can use different services. Yes, Yogen.
Sorry to interrupt. We are not able to see what you are showing in the management console. You are just stuck up at thank you slide. Is it for everyone?
No,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Is it visible now?
Yes, now it is visible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So this is my management console, and in this management console, we can see the services according to the categories. Like we have analytics, application integration, AR and VR, AWS cost management, blockchain, compute, container. So there are various other categories which has been available. Depending on which category service you want, you can go through that. Like in machine learning, they have all the services related to machine learning. If we talk about compute, then it will be having all the services related to the compute. Like EC2 is also a compute service. So we can click on EC2. Let me take some few seconds. So this is the EC2 dashboard, and over here we are able to see how many instances are running, what all key pairs are there, what all security groups are there. From here we can use the launch instance, and in the launch instance we can launch the instances. So this was just a recap. Okay. So this was what the launch instances are there. From here, we can launch the multiple instances depending on our requirement. We can go which machine we want, like Linux, Mac OS, or even we have Windows available. So Microsoft Windows. And various other options are available through which we can select, and according to that, we can launch our instances. If we want to see that what all instances are being available, so we can go to the instances. And in the instances, we are able to view all the running instances. Even if I have terminated any of the instances, then that also will be visible. Because I have not launched any instance, or till now I have not actually terminated any instance, so it is not showing any instance. That's why it is showing no instances available. Okay. So that was all about the last session. Now we will be starting our today's session. That will be the Amazon VPC. So what you have heard about Amazon VPC, apart from the full form that VPC is a virtual private cloud. Yeah, that is true. Apart from that, do you know anything about Amazon VPC?
So guys, we are expecting that you might have completed that modules related to networking and storage and all. So the question is like, what do you understand? Like, what is mean by VPC, the virtual private cloud? What do you think what it is?
VPC pairing, okay.
We have some answers at least.
Yes, it is used by private companies for their private data. Okay. Private clouds on premises. Okay. So
Your network.
internal network for EC2. Okay. Similar to VPN. Okay, to make data centers app to the cloud. Okay, so we have various services through which we can connect the data centers to the VPCs, but not exactly wrong or exactly right URL. So what happens? So we have launched one EC2 instance. So first you will be understanding how we can go with the VPCs. So we have seen how to actually launch an EC2 instance, how we can work with the EC2 instance. So if I have launched the EC2 instance, then that instance, that resource I am using. So to make that instance, that resource a boundary, like we can say that a coffee shop is there. So I have some boundary of the coffee shop that, okay, this area will belong to that coffee shop. Apart from that, if I will say that no area will be there, then they can establish their coffee shop somewhere one day over years, the next day they will be shifted to some other places. So like this, I will not be able to locate where the coffee shop is exactly. So because of that, we will be having some area defined for a coffee shop. Sorry. Okay. So the area will be defined for a coffee shop. So the same thing happens in this VPC. What we do, we define a boundary, we establish a boundary that, okay, these are the boundaries in which we can establish my EC2 instance, we can establish my databases, we can run my instances, any other AWS services. So to run those services, we establish a boundary and those services will be run in that boundary only. So that is what the VPC is. VPC is a virtual private cloud, which provide you with a section, with an area that has been isolated. That means one section is not having any connection with the other section. We can say like the rooms are there in the hostel and that room is being available only for you. One room is not being accessed by the other person. That person will be given some other room and they can get access to that room only. The same thing happens in this VPC. So they provide you with an isolated section and there you can use your own instances, your own services, and you can work on that. So that is what the VPC is all about. Then comes the internet gateway. So we talk about the internet gateway. So if we talk about the internet gateway, now what happened? We have some instances available and those instances are available in the VPC. Now those instances, if I need to get access to those instances, so what I need an access, I need to get connected to that instances. For connecting to that instances, like a public person, so I need an internet gateway. So internet gateway is a gateway that is being established at your VPC end so that you can get connected to the public internet. That means anybody, any clients are there, they want to get access to your instances, then they can get access to your instances by an internet gateway. So we can say a coffee shop example, which we took. So the coffee shop is there, and if I will be having a entrance door, a doorway will be there, and using that doorway only, all the customers will get access to the coffee shop. So a doorway is something like an internet gateway, using which the customer can get access to your application, to your instances, to your coffee shop. So that is what the internet gateway is all about. Okay, so now comes what you were talking about, that if I want to get connected to my data centers, to the VPC clouds, then what we need, a private connectivity is being required. So what if I need to get connected to my VPC? by using some private resources, by including some private connectivity. So we have some options available, and that options are virtual private gateway. So what actually the virtual private gateway does, it provides us with a private network through which we can get connected to the VPC using a private connectivity. Like we can take an example of a coffee shop only. So I'm there at my home, and there is a coffee shop nearby me. So what I can do, I can get access to get that coffee shop, but I will be using my private car. Using that private car, I will be going through that coffee shop. So what will happen? I need to follow the same public internet, but still I am being provided with a secure channel. That means it's like a bodyguard is being available with me, and using that bodyguard, with that bodyguard, I'm going to that coffee shop. So that is what example of a VPN is, through which we can get connected to the VPC, but still we have some private security is being given to us. And using that security, we are getting connected to the VPC. So we are following same internet, same public internet, but still a private link is being given, a bodyguard is being given, a security is being given. And using that security, we are able to get connected to the coffee shop, from my home to the coffee shop. So I think that must, they have written about in your modules as well, that the virtual private gateway enables you to connect the VPN with the VPCs, and using a private network, that means your own data centers, your internal corporate network. If you want to get connected to the VPC, you can use the virtual private gateway. That would allow the traffic into the VPC only if it is being approved. So it will check that the traffic is being approved, then only that traffic will be allowed to get access. Otherwise, those traffic won't be allowed to get access to the VPCs. So what happened, there is some firewall layers are being available at the VPC point, at the instance point. So we will be exploring that, like security group we have seen, but we have not seen the network access control list, which we will be seeing in the coming slides. So that is also there. That will also act as a firewall, and that will be seeing that, yes, this network should be allowed, or this network should not be allowed. So all these things have been seen. And after that, that network will be allowed to get access to the VPC. So the same thing, we can say that, yes, I'm going from the home to the coffee shop, then they will be seeing that who can get access, like there will be a watchman available at the coffee shop, and they will be saying that, okay, somewhere they have some people have been allowed that you are being given some cards, like you have some birthday parties available, you have been given some card, and using those card only you will be able to get access to that premises. Otherwise you won't be allowed. So that is what something happens in this, and with that only we will be getting access to the VPCs. So using the virtual private cloud, we can get connected to the data centers. So this is what the diagram is. This is my corporate data center. We can say my data center is there, like my home is there, where I have established some servers or some storage, and that is, I need to get connected to the AWS. So what I can do, I can use the internet only, and using the internet which we are using to get connected, that internet will be used, and using that internet in private mode, that means the secure connection will be given to me, a private secure connection, and through that I can connect with my VPC. So there will be a VPC, AWS VPC, and my account will be having that VPC, and at the VPC end there will be a virtual private gateway that will be installed like this. They are being installed, and using this we will get connected to all the databases which has been available in the VPC. Even if the instances are available, then also we can connect to that instances as well. So this is what the diagram which has been explaining how we can get connected to a VPC using the data centers and the using the VPN connection with the data centers. Then comes the AWS Direct Connect. So if we talk about the AWS Direct Connect, then we can take like what happened in the VPN. that I was going to the coffee shop and I was following the same traffic. I need to experience the same traffic. There must be some delay. I need to wait that, yes, there is a traffic jam and I need to wait in the traffic. And then I was able to go to that coffee shop. Now, what I can say that now, no, I don't want to go from that pathway. I need to go with some other pathway and I need to follow that pathway. And that should be directly connected from my home to the coffee shop. And I don't want to experience any kind of a delay, any kind of a traffic jam, anything. I don't want to go. I want a connection between my home and the coffee shop so that I can directly go to the coffee shop and experience the coffee over there. So what I can do, I can go with the AWS Direct Connect. What AWS Direct Connect provide us with it provides us with a dedicated link. That means that will be only available to me. Okay. So the dedicated private connection will be provided to me from my data centers to the VPC. And that will help me reduce the network cost. Even it will provide us with the good bandwidth, less delay. So all these things will be given and I can I can use that pathway. A pathway will be given to me that will be providing that, yes, from your home, from your building, a separate pathway will be given. And using that pathway, I can go to the coffee shop. So that is what the direct connect is. Using that pathway, I can directly get connected to the coffee shop and experience the coffee. So this is what the diagram is showing you, that this is my data centers. That means this is my home from where I need to get connected using a dedicated channel, and that should be available only to me. So this is what the dedicated channel is. So this is the dedicated channel which they are following and they are using, like the AWS Direct Connect location. So first we need to establish the connection between them, and then using that connection, we can connect to the virtual private gateway that is present at the VPC end, and we can get access to the services, all the services which is present in my VPC, and get connected to that VPCs. So like instances, databases, any other AWS services which has been available at my VPC end, so I can get connected to those services as well. So this is all about the direct connection. Let's go further. So now we understand what the subnet is. So subnet is there, like in the VPC, we have seen that there is a public subnet, like in this earlier diagram only. We are able to see that, yes, they have specified some public subnet, some private subnet terminology. So what actually this public subnet and the private subnet is? What happens in this VPC, we have some resources available. Like these instances, they should face the public internet, like the customers who are available. Just give me a second. I will explain this with a coffee shop example only. So what happened? There is a coffee shop and they have one cashier available and one barista available. Okay. So what will happen? Customer will go inside to the coffee shop and they try to give the order for their coffees. So the cashier will take all the orders and maintain the record of all the orders. And they what she will do, she will pass on all the orders to the barista so that he can prepare the coffees for the customers. Now what the customer thought that, no, why to go to the cashier and then cashier will take and then it will migrate that request to the barista. We can do that. We can go directly to the barista and can give the order. So what they did, they actually break the order, break the line, and they actually try to get access to the barista and try to give the order directly to him. So this is what I don't want that this should happen, because there should be a proper channel, and using that channel, they should not get access to this barista. So what I can do, I can separate their workspaces. I can say that, okay, cashier will only be available at the first end. That means who the customer can access. And this barista will not get access to the customers. That means this will be given a private separate area, and that area will only be accessible by the cashier. The customer cannot access. So that what I can do, the customer will not break the line, they will not break the rules, and they will not give orders to the barista. So like this, I can say that I have separated the workspaces. Now, they don't know where the barista is, where the person is there who is preparing the coffee for me. So he will, the customer won't get access to that person. So they will not be able to give the order to the barista. So they need to give the order to the cashier only, and they will be going with the line, going with the flow. And this cashier will collect all the orders, and this cashier will give those orders to the barista. So in this way, the system works. The same thing happens. So this cashier will be like a public subnet. What the public subnet will be there, all the instances, all the servers which I want that should be exposed or to the customers, to the clients, to the public, that can be available in the public subnet. That means my applications are deployed on that servers so that the customers can get access to that servers. So that will be available in the public section. Like my databases are there, which they don't, the customers, the client should not directly get access to my database. So that can be established in the private subnets. So this barista is like a private subnet, which has been present in the private subnet that not everybody can access. Only the person who has been provided the access will get access to this barista. So that is what the public and the private subnet is all about. So they have also mentioned the definition about the public subnet and the private subnet. The same thing they have written, like the resources which need to be accessible by the public, like online websites, applications, that will be available in the public subnet. The private subnet will be containing the databases, like my databases there where they have stored the information about the customers, their history, the history related to the customer, what all things they have purchased, what is the personal information. So all these things are being stored in the databases. So that is being kept in the private subnet. So like this, we can keep some instances in the public subnet, some databases in the private subnet. Then comes the ACL, that network access control list. So let's talk about the network access control list. Now, what it is like a firewall which work at the subnet level. Okay, so what happened, like we can say that, leave the example of a coffee shop. Now come that you are going, you are there in the airport actually. So what happens in the airport, if you travel from one country to another country, you need to show your passport. So every time what the passport officer will be doing, it will be checking that, okay, you are allowed to go inside to this country or not. So if you are allowed, then you will be getting access. He will say that, okay, you are allowed, you can go inside. When you come back again, and they will be asking you that, show me your passport. So you will show the passport. They will check that, are you allowed to go outside this country or not? Okay. So at the time of entry, they will be checking that, yes, you are allowed to go inside this country. If you are allowed, then you will be you will go inside. If you are not allowed, then they will not allow you to go inside the country. The same way, if you go inside the country and come out and say that, okay, fine, I have visited your country. Now I need to go back to my country. So what do you say? The passport officer will say that, okay, you can go back, but first show your passport. So using those passport, what it will check that, are you allowed to go outside this country or not? Maybe possible sometimes what happened, that some persons are restricted that this person should not go outside this country because they have performed some criminal activities or something is being applied on them. So they are not allowed. So the same thing is there, that packets are like a passport. So packets are there, packet come, and they will at the subnet level, they will check that, are these packets are allowed to come inside my subnet or not? If they are allowed, then they will be gone inside. When they go back that, okay, are you allowed to go outside? Then only I will allow you to go outside my subnet level. So they will be checking every time when you come in, that at that time also it will check. When you go out, at that time also it will check. So that is what the network access control list is all about. So that's why they have written over here inbound and outbound traffic. Inbound means when you are coming inside. Outbound means when you are going inside, at that time also it will check. So that is what works at the subnet level. Okay. Then comes the security group. So security group, remember in the last session, Yugendra has told you how to launch the instance. At that time, we have configured the security group as well. We have seen that, okay, RDP is there. Then we have downloaded one keys, and using those keys, we are able to get access to the instances. So that is actually the security. So that is also a firewall, and they also have some inbound and outbound rules available. But this security group is a stateful. That means when you go inside, they will be checking you that, okay, are you allowed to go inside this instance? Are you able to get access to this instance? Then yes, then you can go inside. When you go, when you want to go outside that instance, that at that time they will not check. Like we can think about that I'm there and I'm living in my apartment. So what will happen? Somebody wants to come, some visitor, some guest is coming at my place. So when they will be entering, there will be a person who will be like a watchman will be there that will be asking where you need to go. So you will be mentioning that, yeah, I need to meet Nupur. So they will be asking you that, okay, you can write some details. I want to check that you are allowed to go inside or not. And if they say that, okay, now fine, you are allowed to go inside, you can meet that person to whom you want to meet. So at that time, he has checked everything, and they will be keeping the record. They will be keeping that state of you. And when you will be going outside from my apartment after visiting me, after seeing me, then they will not ask you anything. They will say that, okay, you can go outside. They will not ask you anything. So that's what the security group is all about. They will check only once when you will try to get inside the instances inside that area. If they have said that, yes, you are allowed, then at that state is being taken and that state is being considered. When you go outside, then they will allow you to go outside that area as well. So that is what the security group is. They also have some inbound and outbound traffic, but you need to mention one, and the other one is by default allowed as well. The same difference have been mentioned over here, that the security group works as an instant level. That means when we define the EC2 instances, that at that time we actually configure the security groups. Then the NACL, that will be the network access control list, that will work at the subnet level. That means when we define the VPC, we create the subnets. So at the subnet level, we need to mention the network access control list. Security group is the stateful in nature. That means they consider the state. They will be seeing that, okay, at the time of entrance, they will be asking you that, okay, I need to check various details. If you are allowed to get access to the EC2 instance or the number of EC2 instance, then only you will be allowed to go inside. And when you go outside, then I will not check anything. But what happened at the network access control list, that it will check when you go inside. At that time also it will check. When you go outside, at that time also it will check that you are allowed to go outside or you are allowed to come inside or not. Then by default, security group denies all the inbound traffic and outbound traffic. Then by default in the NACL, it allows all the inbound and outbound traffic, but you can modify by adding some of your own rules. And by that, you can actually see that whatever rules you want to deny, whatever rules you want to allow, you can allow that.
Two, three people have asked what is stateful. I think 2-3 people have asked this question.
Okay, so the stateful means what happened, I can say that whenever I go inside, like the apartment is there. So in this apartment, what I do, there is a security guard available, and they will be asking that if any guest is there, like Anjana is coming to meet at my place. So what the security guard will be asking you that where you need to go, to whom you need to meet. So they will be asking those details. And if you say that I need to meet Nupur, she is living in 104 and in this C blocks, any of the block. So they will say that, okay, she is living over there. I know that, yes, in the C block, some Nupur is living over there. So, okay, you are allowed to go inside. If you mention the correct details, then you will be allowed. At the time when you come outside, you want to go outside my apartment, they will, the security guard won't ask you that why are you going outside this apartment. So that is what the stateful is. That means when you were going inside the apartment, at that time they know that, okay, you are going inside. So when you go outside, they will remember that, okay, yes, I have allowed that person. That person was here to meet the Nupur, and now that person is going outside. So they maintain the state and they will keep the record that, yes, I have allowed that person. That means that person will be allowed to go outside this apartment as well. So that is what the stateful is. When we talk about the stateless, then what happens in the stateless? That means it will not maintain any kind of a state. When I come, they will be asking, like in the airport, what happened when you go, say that I need to go from India to the Canada. So what they say, that, okay, the Canadian at the Canadian state, there will be a passport officer. They will say that, okay, show me your passport. Let me see that you are allowed to go inside my country or not. So I will show the passport and they will check that, yes, I'm allowed or not. So they will check and they will say that, okay, fine, you are allowed to go inside the Canada. When I come back and I will say that, okay, now I need to go back to the India. So they will say that, okay, let me see if you are allowed to go outside the Canada or not. Let me see that first, because that person will not maintain any kind of a state. They will not remember you. So they will, every time whenever you go inside, they will ask for the condition. They will check their condition that, okay, you are allowed, their rules are being checked, and then they will be allowing you to go inside. If you go outside, then also they will check their rules, and then only they will allow you to go back to your country. So that is what the stateless is. I hope now it is clear to everyone.
So Nupur, if you are
Yes.
at a logical end, probably we should close and answer questions.
Okay, so it was more of logical.
No. Are you at a place where you can stop, or is there some continuity? The next thing.
Yes, some more thing are there. I think one or two things.
Yogendra, what's your take?
Let's stop here, and I also have few questions.
Yes.
I've noted it down. I will answer those questions first. So
I'll
guys,
stop sharing my
state, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So stateful, stateless, simple answer is like, let's go back to those days when we were having our hall tickets in our hand and we were going for exam. Now, whenever you are going inside the exam room, like exam hall, the invigilator was checking your hall ticket. Okay. If that is a valid hall ticket, you are allowed to go inside the room. But when you are done with the exam and you're coming outside that room, no one will check that. That is meant by stateful. We are just checking whenever you are coming inside. I'm not checking back like you are like, if you're coming inside, you are allowed to go outside as well. That is meant by stateful. We are maintaining the state. So security group, which is working with your virtual machine, the EC2 instance, it will check whenever the traffic is coming inside, but it will not check whenever the traffic is going outside. It will like allow that particular traffic to go outside as well. In case of the NACL's network access control list, it is stateless. It is not maintaining any states. Whenever the traffic is coming inside, it will check whether this traffic is allowed to go inside or not. If the response of that is going outside, again, it will be checked whether this is allowed or not. So that is the two-way checking. So that is the stateless NACL. Okay. Now I have few questions here, like, is AWS Direct Connect a virtual private gateway? or VPN is AWS dedicated network. So these are some of the questions. So guys, basically what is VPN? VPN is a networking service. And you have very nice diagrams in your course that you guys are learning. Very nice diagrams. So customers are coming to the coffee shop, and here customers are talking to cashier. They are giving their order, and cashier is forwarding those order to barista. What if customers are directly going and talking to the barista? That will be a mismanagement. So sometimes what we need is a barrier. Like the customers will not be able to talk to the barista, but they should be able to talk to only the cashier. And that is what VPC is providing us. Like in our applications, we have the websites. Websites are hosted on the servers which are made public. Anyone can access the websites. But behind that website, there are some databases as well. We can visit the websites, but we cannot visit the database. Why? Because that is highly secured. So we need something which is publicly accessible, facing the customers, something which is private. So that's why we have the concept of subnets in the VPC, the public subnet, which is having the direct internet access. So yesterday or day before yesterday, we have seen how we can create the EC2 instances. Your website will be running inside these EC2 instances, but these EC2 instances are running inside the public subnet. So that with the help of IP address of these EC2 instances, anyone can access my website. And then here we have the private subnet, the database is running inside this. No one can access this from the internet. So we have the internet access, we have the private access, that is the subnets. And talking about this VPN and Direct Connect. So guys, for that, we need to understand what is mean by the data center. What is data center? Data center is a room, a physical room where we have a lot of servers running. So basically, like if your organization is having its own data center where they are running lots of servers, how you can connect to that particular data center with AWS. Like suppose you have some applications running in AWS, you have some applications running in your on-premise data center, and all these applications want to communicate with each other. How these are going to connect? So we need a way, we need a communication medium. Then we have two types of communication medium. One is internet-based VPN connection. So VPN connection, like it will create a secure tunnel over the internet. We can use that. So that is like, that can be fluctuating because normally our internet sometimes works well, but sometimes it gets stuck. But what if like we need a dedicated, like someone asked, VPN is a dedicated network? No, VPN is not dedicated. It is over the internet, guys. If we need a dedicated connection, then we go for the Direct Connect connection. Direct Connect is the optical fiber-based connectivity. Just like you are getting broadband connections at your home, the optical fiber, the physical connectivity from your data center to AWS. So that is a Direct Connect. These are the two ways how we can connect our data center with AWS. Okay. Without internet, can I use the servers to reach the database? Without internet, if you do not have internet, how you are going to talk to the public cloud? Okay, so that is not possible. If you want to talk to the public cloud infrastructures, you need the internet. Also, there was one more question. Can data center be inside VPC? Guys, these are completely different concepts. Data center consists of the network, server, storage, everything. We can create data center like infrastructure in AWS using VPCs, EC2 instances, and the other storage services. So we can create like virtual data centers, we can say, in AWS. Okay, more questions. Basically, ACLs check data packets inbound and outbound at the subnet level. Absolutely. Yeah, you got it. ACLs, or we can say NACLs, network access control list, are working at the subnet boundaries. So whenever the traffic is coming inside, like VPC is a closed room. We need a door for the communication. Someone should come inside, someone should go outside. And that door is the internet gateway. So whenever the traffic is coming via the internet gateway at the subnet level, network access control list will check whether this traffic is allowed or not. If that is allowed, it will go inside, and before like hitting the EC2 instance, the security group will check. So we have 2 layers of security here. Can I synchronize my on-prem storage with the AWS storage? Definitely you can do that. So again, like probably it will increase the complexity, but there is one service in AWS that is called as AWS Data Sync. AWS Data Sync service, you can use that. Why not hybrid cloud is used instead of VPC where too much checking is going on? I'm not getting your question. Why not hybrid cloud? So hybrid cloud is your choice. Hybrid cloud is your choice. And with the help of VPC, you can create the hybrid cloud. What is mean by the hybrid cloud? Some servers are running in AWS, some servers are running in your on-premise data center. And to create the hybrid cloud, you need a connectivity between them. And that's what we are talking about. This VPN, this Direct Connect are implementing hybrid cloud. And when you are saying too much checking, that is must. Now we have customers who are saying why like we need some more security as well. This checking is for security. If anything is allowed, like how it will be secure? By storage gateway. See, if you, Anuj, if you have the requirement of just syncing the storages, you can use the data sync. Storage gateway is for the storage integration. Storage integration. So that is like having a lot more use cases. Like if you have some application running in your data center, the data is in AWS. Can you maintain a local cache of that data? So that is why we can do by the storage gateway. How ACL knows which data packets are allowed, which not? Okay, good question. Let's see the example of one NACL, and we will understand that. So basically, NACL don't know anything. We need to write the rules inside that. I'll go to the VPC service. And then in the security section of VPC, we have network access control list and the security groups. These are the two firewalls. I have some examples over here. I will select one of them. And here you can see we have inbound rules, the rules for the traffic which is coming inside, and then outbound, the rules for the traffic which is going outside. If I go to the inbound rule, here you can see all traffic is allowed. I can edit this. Suppose I want to block some traffic. So what I will do is I will select, like, I want to block SSH. I do not want anyone to log in inside the machines. I want to block SSH for all the IP addresses, and I will write deny over here. So it's like NACL don't know anything. We have to define the rules, and we have to set like which type of traffic should be allowed, which type of traffic should be denied. So that is what we are telling to the network access control list. Answer the question, Parag? Where is EC2 placed, in public subnet or private subnet? Mona Lisa, answer to that is both. See, your application can contain web servers, it can contain application servers, it can contain database servers. So basically, you can keep those web server based EC2 instances in the public subnet, and then you can keep that backend application servers or the database servers which are running on the EC2 instances in the private subnet. So when you are creating the EC2 instances, you can select in which particular subnet you want to place it, whether it will be the public facing or it will be private. So that is your decision. How can I create my own data center in my home? That is impossible. Your home will be too small for that. Shubham, see, okay. Just to understand what is mean by data center, let me show you. This is data center. These are the bunch of servers. Can you do that? Do this at your home? No, you cannot. So data center consists of like hundreds of servers. And we have the power backups, we have the cooling systems. So many things are there. Okay. How can I deploy AWS for web application? Probably your question is like how we can deploy the web applications on AWS. So guys, in the previous session, I have shown you how we can create the virtual machines. Now, once the virtual machine is created, you have the administrative control. The same way you are hosting some website in some physical servers, you can do that in your EC2 instances as well. And with the public IP address of that EC2 instance, you can access your website. Okay. If you're on third-party application, then which ports they will use, how we know and block. Which third-party app you are talking about? Okay, if you are talking about the DDoS attacks where we don't know the ports, the proper ports and the IP addresses that we want to block, then we have like another service that is called as AWS Web Application Firewall. We do not want to jump into that because that is a very big topic. That AWS WAF and AWS Shield are the two services which are used for mitigating the DDoS attacks in the architecture. What is the benefit of Redshift over S3? We cannot compare both of these, guys. Amazon S3 is a storage and Redshift is a data warehouse. So data warehouses are different and normal flat storages are different. They both have the different purpose. But can have Ethereum mining at home. That is not legal. Don't do that. Even like there are some AWS services, like if you do the Bitcoin mining or blockchain mining, if you are doing in some EC2 instances, that services, like one service is AWS Guard Duty, that will give you the alert. Like probably this particular instance is compromised because it is used for the Bitcoin mining. So don't do that.
So what is the alternative for EC2? That's the question. What is equivalent, maybe? What is equivalent?
Okay. Yes, we do have alternatives. But that will again increase the complexity. See, the thing is, right now what we are replacing, we have some physical servers running in our data centers. We are replacing that with the virtual machines, the EC2 instances. But after that, we have Lambda functions as well. You might like the Lambda functions are also there in your course, guys. AWS Lambda. So in case of AWS Lambda, you do not need to select the operating system. You do not need to select what configuration you want. You just come with your code and you will just run that code. That will run automatically. The underlying infrastructure will be completely managed by AWS. That is called as the serverless computing. Serverless computing, where the servers are completely managed by AWS. So thus, yes, alternatives are available. We have the containers as well. Virtual machines, containers, serverless computing. So all these things are there.
Okay, so there's one very good question with which Yogendra, I think you should end Friday evening. What modules to study for next session?
Yeah.
See, that's the studious students asking you. What are you going to cover in the next session? What should they learn and come?
They'll come prepared next time.
Oh, great. Then I will come with some questions as well. Okay.
What are you going to cover next? I mean, maybe just talk about the next 1 or 2
So guys, in the first session, we talked about how we can create a single virtual machine. And today we talked about the network. In the next section, we will talk about the security. Like there was one question, is AWS cloud secure? So we will talk about that security and how we can monitor and maintain our applications. Monitoring basically like our servers are running, but how we can monitor those servers. So there are few modules in your course, like module number 6 talks about the security. Module number 7 talks about the monitoring analytics. So just focus on those modules. We will discuss about those modules there. And yeah, come with some good questions, just like today's session.
I'll just share the schedule with everybody to end before we end the session, so that everyone know when are we meeting next time.
Yeah, so there's only one more session. Ideally, it'll be good if you can complete the entire thing, because the last one we would like to use it for assessment prep.
Mm-hmm.
So where did it go? Okay. Network issue. Can everyone see my screen? So next time you guys are going to meet us on 7th, and before that, please come prepared, because we will have jargons and questions that nobody will be able to understand otherwise.
Yeah, and try and complete the course by 17th at the minimum. For folks who are completing, the first 100 folks completing the certification, there's something coming to your house. So you have to do it before 10th. I mean 12th, right? We told 12th. The Monday morning you tell us.
You have to also share your certificate with us, and then address, and then we'll send
Anjana
goodies,
breaking.
so it's going to be
Anjana's network is down, so she's dragging. So that's fine.
Okay, so 9th we have the session where Yogendra will prepare us to take the assessment. When I say us, we are also learning this with you guys, by the way. If you complete it by 12th morning and certification, I mean assessment, you take the assessment and complete it by Monday morning, you will get into that list of people who are going to get goodies. And then anyway, everybody who completes the certification, we will have a felicitation ceremony on 17th, which is the Vishwakarma Day. And ministry is tracking all these things. So, okay. All who are completing and the certifications will have the invite for the 17th.
Yeah, I just want to answer one question. I'm doing some simulation on a large assembly vehicle crash. So does EC2 will able to judge and expand the number of computing power to support the computing and expand? I would say Tatkal reservations. Have you all faced this problem, Tatkal reservations? Earlier,
Yeah,
the IRCTC website was going down, and today the IRCTC website is absolutely working fine. Even at the time of Tatkal reservations, the website works. That is handled by the EC2 auto scaling. I think this answers your question. Vehicle crash, like that simulation is very small in front of this Tatkal reservations, I think. But yeah, AWS will not automatically do that. As I said on day one, solution architects, this is the responsibility of the solutions architect, how to design the auto scaling. How to design the auto scaling, when to expand the number of servers, when to shrink the number of servers, that is done by the auto scaling and monitoring. So in the next section, when we will talk about the monitoring, we will talk about the auto scaling as well. Okay. Yeah, that's all.
All right. So I think we had a wonderful session. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, panelists. Anjana, Smita, Nupur, Yogendra, and a big thanks to Muthu, silently looking at us whether we are doing the right job or not. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, attendees.
Yeah, folks, there are 1,000 people in this cohort, okay? Some are doing AWS, some are doing acquiring data. So be the first 100 and get the goodies. Okay, all right. Bye. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Take care. Have a nice
Thank
weekend,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.